The Invisible Chains: How Modern Consumerism Engineered the Perfect Slavery of the Mind. Imagine waking up every single morning genuinely believing you are free. Free to choose what expensive brand to buy, what aesthetic to wear, what niche food to eat, and even what seemingly independent ideas to think. You feel empowered by the sheer, endless volume of choice. But what if I told you that this treasured illusion of freedom is, in reality, the most subtle, sophisticated and effective form of control ever meticulously engineered by humankind? The system we live in has fundamentally evolved beyond visible chains, beyond brute force, beyond the old totalitarian models. It has replaced them with psychological chains, invisible, highly seductive, deeply personalized, and almost impossible for the unconscious mind to resist. Today, we will uncover the hidden, intricate architecture behind modern, hyper-personalized consumerism. We will explore how it has transformed from a simple economic model for exchanging goods into a subtle, perfected form of cognitive slavery. Stay with me until the very end, because the final, essential revelation we'll discuss might completely change the way you see yourself, your most intimate choices, and the entire commercialized world around you. The first step toward true liberation is the absolute willingness to see the cage. 1. The new captivity: mistaking comfort for freedom. Let's begin by asking a simple, yet deeply unsettling question. If we are all supposedly free, empowered individuals living in the age of unprecedented material choice, why do so many of us live trapped in debilitating cycles of anxiety, debt, profound dissatisfaction, and endless, restless desire? Why do we compulsively keep consuming things we objectively don't need, using money we often don't truly have, to impress people we barely know or follow online? The profound, uncomfortable truth is this: modern consumerism is not just about buying products. It is about relentlessly shaping identities. It is a system designed to define your core worth, your potential for happiness, and even your crucial sense of belonging, exclusively through what you acquire and what you display. The highly influential psychologist Erich Fromm, in his profound, pivotal work, To Have or To Be, warned that modern, Western society has disastrously replaced the core state of being with the pursuit of having. We no longer ask, "Who am I at my core?" but rather, "What do I own? And how is it viewed by others?" This subtle, catastrophic shift marks the psychological foundation of the new, invisible slavery, one in which, ironically, we willingly, even enthusiastically, participate. Consider the landscape of modern advertising. It has evolved into one of the most powerful and invasive psychological tools ever conceived. It doesn't just sell you a tangible object. It sells you a profound sense of meaning, purpose, and prepackaged emotion. You don't buy an expensive car. You buy the status of unassailable success and speed. You don't buy branded clothing. You buy a carefully curated identity and acceptance into an exclusive tribe. You don't buy the latest technology. You buy the pervasive, fleeting illusion of progress and relevance. Corporations no longer simply operate in the marketplace. They operate in the most intimate spaces of our minds. They have mastered the dark art of associating mass-produced products with the most fundamental and vulnerable aspects of human psychology: love, success, beauty, and the desperate need for belonging. They study us, track our every movement, and predict our behavior with a hyper-accuracy that rivals any totalitarian surveillance system of the past. The philosopher Michel Foucault once asserted, Where there is power, there is resistance. Yet, the sinister genius of modern consumerism lies in its ability to completely eliminate the need for resistance altogether, because we have been conditioned to desire our chains. We crave the next upgrade. We desire the feeling of temporary fulfillment. The digital temple of control, social media, has become the undeniable digital temple of this new faith. Every habitual scroll, every compulsive like, every transaction, and every purchase fuels a relentless, hyper-personalized algorithm designed to keep your attention hooked, comparing your flawed life to the idealized lives of others, and constantly seeking the next manufactured dopamine hit. In this new economy, we are no longer the consumers. We have become the product. Our fractured attention is the most precious currency. Our volatile emotions are the primary commodity, and our personal data is the vast raw material of this new economic and psychological empire. Think for a moment about how society defines true success today. It is measured not by inner wisdom, moral virtue, or genuine inner peace, but by possessions, aesthetic performance, and projected image. The modern individual is psychologically programmed with the false, crippling belief that true happiness lies just one purchase away: a new phone, a bigger house, a better-looking body, a luxury vacation. It is always something outside of oneself. This endless, restless pursuit creates the perfect, perpetually compliant consumer, one who is chronically dissatisfied, chronically anxious, and always seeking validation through external means. The great chilling irony is that, while ancient, visible forms of slavery relied on overt physical force, modern psychological slavery operates entirely through subtle, relentless persuasion and psychological conditioning. We are not physically chained to walls. We are chained to engineered desires. We are not whipped by masters. We are whipped relentlessly by our own carefully cultivated insecurities. This system doesn't demand simple, fearful obedience. It relentlessly cultivates profound dependence. And because we are constantly told and constantly believe that we are absolutely free, we never feel the need to genuinely question the invisible mechanisms that expertly manipulate us. So, pause and ask yourself, how many of your choices about buying, wearing, or even dreaming are truly your own, and how much is the result of deep cultural programming? When you choose what to consume, are you expressing true inner freedom, or are you following a carefully designed script written by marketers, corporate psychologists, and algorithms who now know your predictable mind better than you do yourself? As the philosopher Herbert Marcuse wrote in One-Dimensional Man, modern society has achieved something utterly unprecedented. It has made people truly love their servitude. The system doesn't need to suppress you. It only needs to successfully entertain you, distract you, and convince you that consumption is the exclusive, primary pathway to happiness. The result is a profoundly sick society that chronically confuses comfort with genuine freedom and fleeting pleasure with lasting meaning. And here lies the silent modern tragedy. We have mistaken material abundance for spiritual fulfillment. Surrounded by an infinite array of options, we have entirely forgotten the essence of choice itself. We live in a world where you can buy everything, yet cannot buy the sense of fundamental purpose, authenticity, and peace that no product can ever provide. 2. The architects of desire, the birth of psychological control. If the first step to control is the establishment of an illusion, the second is the implementation of deep psychological conditioning. To fully understand how modern consumerism became such a powerful system of psychological domination, we must trace its dark origins, not in the factory or the marketplace, but deep within the science of the human mind. The story begins, starkly, in the early 20th century with a figure named Edward Bernays, the brilliant, manipulative nephew of Sigmund Freud. Bernays grasped a fundamental truth that would change the trajectory of the modern world forever. If you could successfully tap directly into people's unconscious desires and irrational motivations, you could make them do almost anything willingly. He realized that humans don't primarily buy products for logical, utilitarian reasons, but for deeply emotional, symbolic ones. They buy symbols, they buy projected meaning, not necessity. Using his Uncle Freud's groundbreaking theories about the unconscious mind, those bubbling wells of desire, fear, and insecurity, Bernays pioneered the entire field of public relations. In reality, this was simply the birth of mass psychological manipulation as a core capitalist strategy. Bernays famously stated, chillingly, "The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society." And that sophisticated manipulation became the beating heart of modern, hyper-aggressive consumerism. Think about how profound and invasive that strategy is. Instead of merely selling products based on their usefulness, a utilitarian concept, companies began to sell a carefully constructed identity, a way of life, and a solution to internal pain. A cigarette was not just tobacco. Bernays successfully marketed it as a symbol of independence for women. A car wasn't merely transportation. It was a potent symbol of masculinity and prestige. Every single object became a powerful external mirror reflecting who we desperately wanted to be. By connecting consumption directly to the deepest, most vulnerable layers of our psychology, our profound fears, our crushing insecurities, and our unmet desires, corporations didn't just enter the market, they entered our minds and established permanent residence. The algorithmic master. Over time, this strategy has evolved with frightening speed, accelerating with the rise of technology. Today, algorithms and machine learning have replaced the early Madison Avenue advertisers. These pervasive systems analyze your every click, every momentary pause, every micro-expression, to understand you, not as a complex human being, but as a vast, predictable pattern of behavior. The system doesn't just know what you like right now, it knows what you will like tomorrow. It anticipates your latent needs, meticulously shapes your future preferences, and builds a digital world around you where every single suggestion feels deeply personal and perfectly natural. But in truth, this personalized ecosystem is engineered with a single, brutal goal: to keep you trapped in the cycle of consumption, forever chasing fulfillment through the next purchase, the next software upgrade, the next digital validation. We have entered an era where data is infinitely more valuable than gold. and your finite attention span is the most precious currency. The modern human being has become the definitive raw material for the massive, churning machine of consumer capitalism. Every post, every search query, every online impulse contributes to the vast machinery that studies, predicts, and ultimately profits from your programmed behavior. As the philosopher Byung-Chul Han warns in his seminal work, The Burnout Society, this constant internalized pressure for self-optimization, the cultural imperative to be perpetually productive, flawlessly desirable, and socially relevant, has chillingly turned modern freedom into a pervasive form of self-exploitation. We are no longer forced by external masters. We willingly, compulsively enslave ourselves to the frantic, exhausting rhythm of the system, desperately believing it to be progress or personal ambition. But what makes this system so devastatingly efficient is not just how it manipulates our desires, it's how it completely shapes our core identities. Modern marketing doesn't simply ask you to buy something, it invites you to become someone. You're not just a consumer, you are a carefully curated lifestyle. Every brand becomes a cohesive tribe. Every product becomes a statement of a self that must constantly be affirmed. From luxury logos to carefully managed social media aesthetics, we are fundamentally conditioned to express individuality through conformity. We choose between countless products that are all fundamentally designed and produced by the same pervasive forces, believing that this dizzying illusion of choice represents our sacred freedom. And yet, deep down, there is a growing, corrosive emptiness, a silent, nagging recognition that none of these external things bring lasting, profound fulfillment. The momentary excitement of acquisition fades instantly, replaced by a hollow void that instantly demands to be filled again. This is not a flaw in the system. It is its foundational design. The goal is not sustainable satisfaction, but perpetual, restless desire. A satisfied consumer is a dangerous consumer because they stop consuming. This is why everything today is designed for rapid obsolescence. Not only our devices and physical possessions, but our attention spans, our relationships, and even our constructed sense of self. The moment something loses its engineered novelty, it loses its value. We are constantly pushed toward the next version, the next trend, the next escape. And in that relentless, restless motion, we forget the profound art of being still and how to simply exist without needing to acquire or display. Modern consumerism has transformed society into what Guy Debord called the spectacle, a vast, glittering world where the appearance of life replaces life itself. We no longer simply live experiences. We meticulously perform them for an unseen audience. We travel not to truly see the world, but to meticulously document that we have seen it. We don't enjoy moments. We prioritize capturing them as content. Every authentic action becomes a transaction of visibility. The marketplace has swallowed the sacred, the intimate, and the human. Ask yourself, when was the last time you wanted something and truly reflected on why? When was the last time you questioned whether that desire was genuinely born from within you, or whether it was skillfully implanted by the constant, low-level hum of advertisements, influencers, and the relentless pressure of social validation? The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Yet how can we possibly claim mastery when our deepest desires are meticulously engineered, our thoughts manipulated, and our finite time sold to the highest bidder? We have catastrophically mistaken the abundance of external choice for the essence of true inner freedom. But there is profound hope. Recognizing the illusion is always the first, most powerful act of rebellion. 3. The 3 acts of liberation. reclaiming the free mind. Freedom begins with fierce, unblinking awareness. But awareness alone is not enough to break the chains. Once you clearly see the invisible cage, the next, most demanding challenge is learning the complex, difficult art of walking out of it. Escaping the clutches of modern consumerism is not about rejecting the entire material world or becoming a hermit. It is about fundamentally reclaiming your relationship with the material world. It is about remembering that you are the master of your attention, not the merchandise. The system thrives on distraction. It depends entirely on your attention, because attention is the ultimate gateway to engineered desire. The more distracted you are, the more fragmented your focus, the more easily you can be controlled. Every notification, every suggestion, every algorithmic prompt is designed to fragment your focus, pushing you to react instead of reflect. You move from conscious choice to conditioned response. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once warned that all the noise and distractions of the modern world are inventions for preventing the individual from being alone with himself. In the digital age, this observation has never been more critically true. We have built a world that profoundly fears silence. We fill every single gap, every commute, every queue, every moment of transition with noise, content, scrolling, consumption, anything to avoid facing the profound emptiness within. Yet, it is precisely in that powerful, quiet emptiness that freedom begins. Because when you are not being constantly programmed by external stimuli, you can finally hear the subtle, authentic voice of your own mind. To break the cycle, you must engage in the 3 acts of liberation. Act 1. Reclaiming solitude, the mastery of attention. The greatest rebellion in a consumerist society is to reclaim your inner stillness and solitude, to sit with your own thoughts without needing to escape through stimulation or purchase. The system thrives on dependency, because a mind that cannot be alone is a mind that cannot think freely. Viktor Frankl understood that the deepest human drive is not fleeting pleasure or power, but purpose. When life lacks purpose, consumption rushes in as a frantic substitute. The entire machinery of consumerism keeps you entertained, overstimulated, and perpetually unsatisfied, so you never pause long enough to question why you are consuming. The practical step: practice the pause. Every time you feel the urge to buy or scroll, pause. Take 3 deep breaths and observe the urge. Ask, what am I truly seeking? Comfort, validation, escape? Every compulsive action carries a deep emotional need beneath it. You will often discover that what you truly crave is not the object itself, but a feeling, belonging, joy, peace, something that no object can permanently provide. Act 2. Redefining value, conscious simplicity. In the consumerist world, value is crudely determined by price, popularity, and flawless appearance. But in a conscious, liberated life, value is determined by meaning, quality, alignment with your true self. This shift is revolutionary because it removes the system's power to define your worth. The Stoics taught that freedom is not the absence of desires, but the mastery of them. As Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In the same way, it's not the existence of consumer goods that enslaves us, it is our unconscious, compulsive attachment to them. The practical step: choose intention over impulse. Practice conscious simplicity. Ask, will this object serve my purpose for many years, or just my ego for a moment? The less you depend on external approval, the less control the market has over your identity. True wealth is defined by how little you need to feel complete, whole, and content. As Alan Watts noted, the antidote is not more consumption, but a deeper connection to appreciation. Act 3. Choosing awareness, the final power. The final and most profound truth is this: freedom is not something that can be given or taken.
It is a state of consciousness. No law, no economy, no system can truly enslave a mind that has awakened to its own inherent power. The most perfected form of slavery is the one that makes you forget you were ever free. The most powerful act of liberation is remembering that you always were. To truly awaken, one must learn to see beyond the glittering, seductive surface. Every advertisement, every algorithm, every promise of happiness has one chilling subtext: you are not enough as you are. The moment you believe that lie, you are enslaved. The moment you reject it absolutely, you begin to remember your inherent, unconditional worth. This is the beginning of the inner revolution. The practical step. Embrace creation over consumption. Every time you choose to create meaning through art, relationships, service, rather than purchase it, you reclaim a piece of your sovereign consciousness. Carl Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Consumerism has turned collective unconsciousness into a global business, but the awakening of even one person begins to profoundly shift the balance, because consciousness is inherently contagious. The transformation of society begins with the fearless transformation of the individual. When you no longer define yourself through consumption, you stop feeding the system that thrives on your unconsciousness. You begin to live intentionally, love authentically, and create meaning rather than purchase it. So let me ask you this final, liberating question. Are you truly free, or just comfortable in your cage? The answer may unsettle you, but it holds the key to your liberation. To see the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is the beginning of real, unassailable freedom. Modern consumerism is indeed the perfected form of slavery, not because it controls our bodies, but because it subtly, powerfully seduces our minds. But remember, seduction
only works on those who sleep. The awakened cannot be enslaved. Wake up. Reclaim your time. Question your every desire. Create instead of consume. Live consciously. Because the moment you choose awareness over addiction, silence over noise, and truth over illusion, you become the one thing the system absolutely cannot control. A truly free human being.